let's help everybody figure out how to win in today's market. Okay, wait. I have a question now. I'm sorry. I have the microphone. So you guys are bringing up such great nuggets of information, tactical things. How does a buyer know?
That their agent.
How does a buyer know that their agent is going to check all those boxes you just mentioned?
Very easy answer to the question. Buyers in New Jersey, you have to hire your agent. One of the things you should be asking them is to review an offer that they have written and explain the contract and show you how it works. If they can't explain it to you, I guarantee you they can't explain it to the listing agent.
I mean, hold on. That's like a drop the mic. I'm not going to drop the mic.
If you're watching as an agent, you're not doing it,
But
do it.
you said a couple of things. You said hire your agent.
Yeah.
So let's talk, let's move on from this question. It's a great nugget. Topic. Let's move on from this question and let's just go over what the process is for working with a buyer agent in the state of New Jersey. Let's start there. So, Chris.
So whether you're in New Jersey or not, most states have something that requires you as a buyer to hire your agent. For the sake of this conversation, I'm just going to call it a buyer's agency agreement. But what that agreement is fundamentally your job offer to that agent, hiring them for set services. So if part of their set services is writing an offer and they can't explain to you that process, that's not a good hire.
Right.
It's just one step. But if you're a buyer looking for an agent, these are the types of questions that you want to ask.
All right, you gave us a really good one. Can you give us another one? And also the question I have a lot of buyers want to know is, do they have to pay the buyer commission now in the state of New Jersey? And we work in northern New Jersey, but are they on the hook to pay the commission for when they purchase something?
So that depends home by home. So whether a buyer has a responsibility to their agent for a commission is going to depend on what the seller is or is not offering. So one of the things that I do to make this as easy and clean as possible is I stipulate in the buyer's agreement that we're going to review whether they owe before we write every time.
So they know ahead of time.
It's the easiest way. You're not signing up for something indeterminately. We simply have to look at every home on an individual basis. If the seller is offering compensation, we're going to see what that is. If they're not, we're going to figure out how to write your offer so that whatever your share or responsibility may be as a buyer can either be absorbed into the offer or as a fee that you pay directly.
So do buyers ever say to you, Chris, I don't want to see any house where I have to pay for the buyer commission because I can't wrap it into my mortgage?
So you don't have to wrap it into your mortgage is the answer. There are so many other ways for a buyer to arrange that, whether it's through a seller concession, whether it is through a give back. Again, a good agent is going to be able to walk you through what all of those options are. But at the end of the day, Stacy, to your point, if a buyer does not want to be responsible, that's just great framework to know up front, because we're going to write an offer or find the right term to adjust to make sure that that doesn't happen.
I want to add to that, a great agent is going to know their value, and this is going to be the biggest investment most people make in their life. You need to be working with an agent that knows their value.
And knows their business.
And knows their business.
So Kelly, what do you think is a good, if you were interviewing a buyer, and it's an interesting question to ask as actual agents. If you were interviewing, Chris, you gave us some great ones, but Kelly, if you were interviewing to work with a buyer agent in another area, what would be like your top 3 questions? And maybe, yeah.
So I want to make sure I understand the question. So if I was looking to hire a buyer's agent that wasn't in my immediate market area.
You were buying a house in,
South Jersey.
No, let's forget Jersey.
Okay.
You were buying a house in Arizona or another state, and you didn't necessarily know the neighborhood. What would you do?
Well, I'd ask if the agent was a full-time agent. You don't want to be working with somebody who's doing this part-time. You want somebody who they're committed to this as their career. And so that would be my first thing. How well do they know their market area? What kind of sales have they done over the last 12 months?
Yeah.
And how much of their business is buyer versus listing?
Okay.
What do you
I would
think?
just add to that, find out, ask what the last three transactions that agent had were and what the most challenging parts of that transaction were. Because if you are hearing things that we've already talked about that are really inconsequential and not things that have some teeth, you're probably not getting into the right car with that agent.
Right.
The agent should be able to walk you through and very quickly highlight for you, hey, these
Mhm.
were all the things that we got over to get from start to finish, and we did it seamlessly. I think the other really important question is how long is the average client looking before they are under contract? So I just had a consultation the other night. They were a referral from another client, and the first thing that she said is, we have been looking for a home for 3 years. That stops me in my
Yeah.
tracks. Average for me, start to finish, is less than 90 days. So to
Mhm.
have a buyer on schedule for 3 years, I can't imagine. And more importantly, I needed to understand where they were, because that's a long roller coaster for
Well,
3 years.
it's about the agent not asking the right questions
Or the
Mhm.
and
buyers sticking with an agent that wasn't the
wasn't
right.
right the right fit.
Yep.
And it's okay to not be the right fit. It's
Mhm.
okay to say, listen, thank you for your time, but I don't think we're working.